The first thing you notice is the silence. Not the quiet before music, but the kind that presses against your chest. The camera finds him standing alone at the edge of the America's Got Talent stage, shoulders slightly hunched, hands trembling just enough to be real. A man most people would pass on the street without a second glance. And yet, before a single note is sung, something about him pulls you in. If you've ever wondered how one moment can change a life, stay with this story until the very end. And if stories like this touch your heart, don't forget to like the video and subscribe, because what happens next deserves to be shared. His name is Benjamin Clark. 42 years old. A veteran of the Afghanistan war. Homeless. Those words sound heavy when they sit next to each other, and the audience feels it as soon as he begins to speak. His voice is calm, but it carries the tired weight of someone who has lived too many lives in one lifetime. He tells the judges that he served 2 tours overseas. That he came home with medals, memories, and nightmares that never learned how to leave. For a moment, the spotlight feels too bright, almost unfair, shining on a man who spent years trying to stay invisible. Benjamin explains that after the war, things fell apart quietly at first. Sleepless nights turned into anger. Anger turned into isolation. The job he tried to hold on to slipped through his fingers, then the apartment, then the friends who didn't know what to say anymore. Eventually, the streets became his home. Shelters when he was lucky. Park benches when he wasn't. He says all this without asking for pity, and somehow that makes it hurt more. You can see people in the audience already wiping their eyes, realizing that this isn't just a performance. It's a confession. Simon asks him why he chose to come on this stage. Benjamin pauses, looking up at the lights as if he's searching for the right words floating somewhere above him. He says he's tired of feeling forgotten. Tired of feeling like his life peaked in a war zone and never mattered after that. He says music was the one thing that stayed with him when everything else left. A cheap pair of headphones, a song played on repeat while the world slept around him. Singing, he says, reminded him he was still human. When he says the song he's chosen, there's a ripple through the room. Mad world. It's not a flashy choice. It's not meant to impress. It's meant to tell the truth. As the first piano notes begin, the room grows impossibly quiet. Benjamin closes his eyes, and for a second, it feels like he's no longer on a stage. He's somewhere else entirely. His voice comes out raw, cracked at the edges, but honest in a way that perfection never could be. He doesn't sing like someone trying to win a competition. He sings like someone trying to survive. Every word lands heavy, shaped by experience rather than technique. When he sings about dreams in which he's dying, you believe him. When he sings about feeling worn out and alone, it feels less like lyrics and more like a memory. The camera cuts to the judges. One of them presses their lips together, fighting emotion. In the audience, strangers sit shoulder to shoulder, united by a shared ache. People aren't just hearing a song, they're hearing the echo of war, of nights spent staring at the sky wondering how everything went so wrong. Benjamin's hands stop shaking as he sings. For the first time, he looks steady, grounded, like the music is holding him up. Halfway through the song, something shifts. His voice grows stronger, not louder, but deeper. There's pain there, yes, but also defiance. As if singing this song is his way of saying he's still here, despite everything that tried to erase him. Tears run freely now in the audience. A woman in the front row clutches her chest. A man a few seats back bows his head, overwhelmed. When the final note fades, there's a heartbeat of silence. 1 second. 2. And then the room erupts. A standing ovation rises like a wave, crashing over the stage. Benjamin opens his eyes, startled, as if he didn't expect anyone to hear him at all. His face crumples, and he brings a hand to his mouth, trying to hold himself together as thousands of people stand for him. Not for perfection. For truth. The judges speak, but their words almost feel unnecessary. One tells him that this was one of the most honest performances they've ever seen. Another says that his voice carried a story the world needs to hear, especially in a time when so many veterans feel invisible. Simon, usually guarded, looks directly at Benjamin and tells him that moments like this are why the show exists. That tonight, he didn't just sing a song, he reminded people what empathy sounds like. Then comes the moment Benjamin never imagined. A judge reaches for the golden buzzer. As it's pressed, golden confetti rains down, catching the light like falling stars. Benjamin drops to his knees, overwhelmed. He sobs openly now, not out of sadness, but relief. For the first time in years, he feels seen. Backstage interviews later reveal more of his story. How he used to sing quietly so no one would hear him in shelters. How he once stood outside a closed music store window, watching his reflection sing along to a song playing inside. How he almost didn't show up to the audition, convinced no one would care. He says stepping on that stage felt like stepping back into the world after being gone for a long time. In the days that follow, Benjamin's life begins to change in small but powerful ways. Veterans reach out to him, saying his performance gave them the courage to talk about their own struggles. People recognize him not as a homeless man, but as an artist, a survivor. Donations pour in. Offers for housing support. Counseling. Music opportunities. But more than any of that, Benjamin says the greatest gift was dignity. Being heard without being judged. His journey reminds us that talent doesn't always come wrapped in confidence or comfort. Sometimes it comes carrying scars, shaking hands, and a past that refuses to stay quiet. It reminds us that behind every person you pass on the street is a story deeper than you could imagine. And sometimes, all it takes is one song, one moment of courage, to change everything. As the episode ends, Benjamin stands on stage one last time, looking out at the audience with a soft smile. He says he doesn't know what tomorrow holds, but tonight gave him hope. Hope that his life isn't defined by where he sleeps, but by what he gives to the world. Hope that broken things can still be beautiful. If this story moved you even a little, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Because stories like Benjamin's deserve to travel far, to reach people who might be standing on their own edge right now, wondering if they still matter. And if you're one of them, remember this, your voice, your story, your life still have meaning. Even in a mad world, moments like this remind us that humanity, compassion, and hope are still very much alive. No one in the theater expected him to matter. That sounds cruel, but it's the truth. When the camera first lands on the man standing alone under the massive AGT lights, most people are already making quiet assumptions. His clothes are worn. His posture carries the weight of years most will never understand. He doesn't look like a star. But before you even realize it, something tightens in your chest. Because this is the kind of moment that changes everything. Stay with this story until the very end, and if stories that restore faith in humanity mean something to you, hit like and subscribe, because this one deserves to be remembered. His name is Benjamin Clark, an Afghanistan war veteran who once wore a uniform with pride and purpose. He tells the judges he served his country believing that sacrifice would lead to stability, that courage would be rewarded with peace. What no one prepared him for was the war that followed him home. The invisible one. The one that waits in silence. He talks about sleepless nights filled with explosions that weren't there, faces he couldn't forget, and a constant feeling that he never truly came back. The audience listens, stunned, realizing this isn't just a backstory. This is a lifetime compressed into a few trembling sentences. Benjamin explains that after years of fighting his own mind, everything slowly slipped away. First his job. Then his marriage. Then his home. Pride kept him from asking for help until pride was all he had left. He slept in shelters, on sidewalks, under bridges where the world rushed past without seeing him. Some nights, the only thing that kept him grounded was music playing through battered headphones. Songs that said the words he couldn't. Songs that reminded him he was still alive. When asked why he chose to audition now, Benjamin's eyes fill with tears. He says he's tired of being invisible. Tired of being thanked for his service but abandoned afterward. He doesn't want sympathy. He wants a chance. Just one honest moment where his voice can say what his life has been screaming for years. Then he reveals his song choice, Mad World. The first note hits, and something changes in the room. Benjamin's voice isn't polished.